Hi, my name is Andrew Gerstner, and this is my final project. I am currently a senior in the Information Technology program at University of Missouri. I am focusing more on modeling and virtual reality simulation currently than web design, but I really enjoy web design as a side project and hobby. So let's take a look at my responsive class, or my responsive final. So in my free time, I like to do photography for friends, family, stuff like that. So I thought I built a little portfolio site for me. This is more of a continuation of my explorations project, really refining, getting it to a level to where I could post this and leave this up to use as an actual portfolio. That was really my goal here, and I think I just about got it there. For my project, I used, obviously, I launched onto a Node.js server on Amazon Web Services. For the frameworks I used w3.css and Bootstrap. I used w3.css for the coloring, styling, things like that, while I used the Bootstrap grid system for organizing and placing elements. I attempted to learn Angular. I spent, I would say, close to 10 to 12 hours attempting to learn Angular. I did about a 5-hour Pluralsight course. You can see everything I did here. I really went through, and it'll even launch from here. And it looks just like the other page, but there's some errors somewhere with the JavaScript files. For some reason, in the Angular version, the build would just not complete. So I kind of just had to abandon hope on that, as it's about 6 p.m. and I don't believe I'm going to have time to just continue fiddling with it anymore. So I've abandoned that. But I've learned a lot on Angular, and I've actually taken some things of it. The containers, I've really just I really enjoyed the way React and Angular did everything in containers. No real wrapper divs, just containers over containers over containers. Everything's self-containing. And I like that a lot. Worked really well. Let's see, let's show some of the responsiveness. So if you see here, page shrinks up. Got a little hover there. This is actually the dynamic section of my page. I'll go over that more later. You can see whenever you unfold it, it's less. The grid comes out or unfolds. Also, my minor breakpoint can be found right here. Past 1,000 pixels, the text, the font, and line height increases, so that the text will not have to reshift too much. The lines do change a little bit, but overall, we'll try to keep as much as we can in there. Let's open the developer view and just do some specific devices real quick. I should mention, I pulled all my images directly from a Firebase storage project. I really wanted to implement Firebase chat. Again, though, with working close to 60, 70 hours a week, I truly did not have time to really get Firebase set up as well as I wanted to, but I found Firebase really useful for pulling these large images right here, because each one of these images is about 5,400 by 3,200 pixels. They're absolutely massive, almost raw images, and it helps them scale a lot. Looks really good, big, small, short or tall, anything really. They flex really well. That's not right. Why is it doing that? Okay. sometimes developer is really dumb, in my opinion. It can do things like that where you think you did not design something right and it has horizontal scroll when it doesn't. When it doesn't have horizontal scroll, that was kind of having me worried for a second. But that's Chrome for you. It's also eating about 8 gigs of RAM right now. But oh yeah, back to this is the dynamic portion of my page. So every time this page is refreshed, it's pulling from some collections on Unsplash that I designed. It's just every time that the page refreshes or someone makes a request to the page, those images are refreshed and 4 new ones are placed. For these images, I actually, let's get out of the developer because I hate viewing through that. For these images, I gave them a width of about, or a height of about 500 to 600, so they can not look as clean as this. Sometimes the bottom ones are a little bit longer or vice versa. But with limiting them too much, I was getting some squished images back and they just didn't look good. Like right here, this looks really clean to me. It looks really nice. I used Font Awesome vector icons for all my vector icons. These are direct links on the icons to my business Facebook and Instagram page. I use some W3 classes to hide and show the nav bar at certain breakpoints and to adjust this text right here when it gets too small. So right here, and these will actually take you around the page. Let's go from bottom to top. Looks really good. All in all, I'm really happy with how the page came out. I think it could work very well for a portfolio page. I would like to swap this out for another API whenever I can really get some time together and really figure them out. I was really close, but really worried that if I just continued to fuddle with them, I was going to break my page, and that's just not something I really wanted to do and spend 3 hours and lose 25%. So I will take the hit for the non-advanced API setup. But the good thing about these, honestly, is they're just dynamic URL tags, and I can make 5,000 requests to that tag a day before that tag will not send any more out to me. And my page will not get 5,000 requests in a day ever, so I think this is going to work just fine for my purposes. All in all, though, I learned a lot, even more about the W3 CSS and Bootstrap frameworks than I knew. I learned so much about Angular and the power that it holds. I don't know if my page would be completely appropriate for an Angular application, but I attempted to build it in it. It just didn't work out the way I wanted. I wish it would have, but it launches everything. I even have the mock-up running somewhere back here. Somewhere. Anyways, it runs. It looks the exact same. It doesn't look any different, but I couldn't get the build to build because errors. So that's all for my project. My biggest tip would be to just really dive deep into the Bootstrap documentation and W3.CSS documentation, because while I think a lot of people aren't going to advise you use them together, they can work in conjunction and they can make a really clean looking web page, as you can see. So I hope you enjoy my page.